a 30-minute Yin video where we'll be focusing on target areas of the body to release connective tissue. We'll be holding the poses for 3 minutes in this video. Feel free to increase or reduce depending on the amount of time you have. This is a 30-minute clip. Enjoy. We're going to start in a glute stretch. So I'm going to give you two options. You can either place the right shin on top of the left or in front. If you find that your knee rises up quite high, you can place a block underneath the knee. And then as it feels good, you can start to walk your hands forward, maybe even resting your head on a bolster, maybe just resting your arms. So you want to find a position where you're comfortable and you can really start to open up into the tension around the 10 gluteal muscles on the right side. So that's option one. The other option is to take a half pigeon or a sleeping swan. And you can choose where you place your foot in this pose. Don't feel you have to have it right towards the top of the mat. The shin doesn't need to be parallel, it can be closer to the groin. You don't want to feel any knee pain in this pose. And then when you're ready, you can start to walk your hands forward and come in to your half pigeon or sleeping swan. So we've got 2 minutes left on the right side. See if you can relax the muscles of your face, soften the shoulders. And if you find you're clinging on with that left hip, see if you can let it go. So the idea is to relax and really get deep into that connective tissue so that we can release the fascia, the cling film like wrap that wraps around every muscle, every bone, every joint in the body. Halfway through. See if you can focus on your breath. And perhaps for the last minute, you may find you can go a little bit deeper as the body starts to soften, starts to surrender. The last 20 seconds to go. And then slowly come up. And we'll go straight into the left side. So either placing the left shin on top of the right or in front, and then walking the hands forward. You may find you can't go as deep on this side or as far. So accepting that your bones may be different, one side to the other. You may have different tensions on different sides of the body. So either taking this forward bend glute stretch or taking the option of your half pigeon or sleeping swan, so that left leg swings behind. Finding the placement of your foot and your knee that works for you. The hips don't have to be squared. You can of course place a block underneath the right hip if that feels more comfortable. And then start to walk your hands out in front of you. You can maybe even make a little pillow with your hands. And then seeing if you can relax. So we all have a lot of tension in those glutes and this can be quite a challenging pose. So focusing on the breath, on letting go of tension in the face, shoulders, and both hips. So wherever you're clinging on, see if you can let go. Halfway through, 90 seconds to go. the final minute, perhaps going a little bit deeper if your body, your bones will allow. So we're not worried about what we look like in our Yin Yoga poses. It's about feeling the target area, feeling the pose in the target area. So it's much more about function than aesthetics. Last 30 seconds. And then slowly come up. We're going to go straight from a glute stretch into a hamstring stretch, starting with the right leg. Again, I'm going to give you two options. So you can extend the right leg out, bring the left foot inside the thigh, and then start to walk your hands forward. So this is a forward bend hamstring stretch. And you can use props. You can rest a bolster or a pillow on that right leg. Or if you've got quite tight hamstrings, you may want to place a block underneath the right knee and then walk your hands forward. It doesn't matter if you're not touching your toes, you just want to relax the toes and breathe into those four muscles and all the connective tissue around the back of the right thigh. The other option, if you prefer, is to lie on your back with a strap. So you make a little loop with a strap, place the strap behind your head, and then you can shorten or tighten the strap, and you can rest your arms by your sides. You can interlace your hands behind your head, take it a little deeper. If you find this is too intense, you can just hold the strap, release the head down, and take the leg as far as it will go without starting to shake. So your choice, whether you take the seated hamstring stretch, which also stretches the spine at the same time, or the one lying down with the strap either in your head or in your hands. There are 90 seconds to go in this hamstring stretch. So we're not forcing the poses or taking it to our edge. The idea is to be able to relax, to get into that deep connective tissue. So take it to a point where you feel comfortable, not unbearable. Coming up to the last 60 seconds. And if you find you're really tensing the right thigh, see if you can relax it and let it go. So you want to relax everything. You're tensing that right thigh, then you're working the muscles of the right thigh. We want to relax this right thigh, the quads, and then really release into the connective tissue at the back of the leg. Last 30 seconds to go. Extend the left leg out in front of you. If you have time, you can take a rebound shavasana just to feel the difference between your left and your right leg. Otherwise, coming straight into the left side. Again, it might feel tighter, it might feel more open, so get to know your body and what's going on the inside. Using the props as you will, so cushions, blankets, bolsters can all make a difference in helping us relax in these poses and go a little bit deeper. So either the seated forward bend version or placing the strap in your head. You can interlace the fingers if that feels good, then you get a nice stretch across the pecs at the same time. Or you can release the arms down, trying to relax both feet, both toes. finding which pose works best for you and your body. We're all very differently shaped, and that's what Yin Yoga takes into account, is how unique our skeletons are. Obviously we can change our flexibility through opening connective tissue, but we can't change the shape of our bones. Halfway through, 90 seconds to go. Those of you that are interested in energy channels, meridians or nadis in the body, we're now targeting the kidney meridian along the backs of the legs, the spine, place where we store lots of fear. Final minute. And the last 20 seconds. And then slowly coming up. We're going to come straight into a groin or adductor stretch, straddling the legs. So if you find that your pelvis is quite rounded, just pop your bottom on a block. By doing so, we help to tilt the pelvis forward and take the stretch out of the spine so much and more into the groin adductor muscles. And then you can walk your hands forward. You may find you're totally upright. Don't worry about it. It really doesn't matter what you look like. You can rest your arms on a bolster, maybe coming down. So again, these muscles, these 5 adductor muscles on the inside of the thigh, the groin area, they really will start to open, and all the connective tissue around them. It's amazing how they do start to open up with patients and with holding these yin poses. And just relax your breath, allow the feet, the toes to soften, and letting go of the ego. It's not about what we look like, how far down we're coming. And just breathe into the pose, relax as much as you can. Maybe even focusing on the fact that we're now working into the liver meridian. So physically a place that we store lots of toxins in our body, but also emotionally a place that we store lots of anger and frustration. So feel some of those emotions releasing out of the body as you open up into the groin. "75 seconds to go." This is called dragonfly stretch. The other option, of course, is to do this up against a wall, placing your legs up against a wall. Slowly come up. You're going going to go straight into a quadricep stretch. So I'm going to give you two options. You can sit up, bend the right knee, and maybe here you feel a good stretch in those 4 quadricep muscles and the connective tissue around them on the right side. Maybe you can feel it in the knee and you prefer to place a block underneath the right knee. Maybe you're quite open in the quads and you want to come halfway down onto the elbows. You may find that it feels comfortable to come all the way down. It's not a race, it's not a competition, it's about feeling the target area, feeling those 4 quadriceps and the connective tissue, the myofascia, muscles and the fascia. Or if this feels too intense, come and lie on your front. Make a little pillow with the left hand and then draw the right foot towards your bottom. And then you can rest here. So this version lying on your front is particularly effective if you feel the other variation is too intense on your spine or hurts your knee. You never want to feel any pain in the knee during our yoga practice. Finding a place where you can relax, where you can release and let go. One more minute to go. We're now working the stomach and spleen meridian. Helpful for our digestion. And also our stomach is a place where we store lots of worries and stress. Last 30 seconds. Releasing that right leg. Ready to come straight into the left side. Again, if you can have time, you can rest between the poses to feel the rebound. So the left side may feel different. You may need a block, you may not. You may not come as far, you may go further. So again, working with your body, your bones, and letting go of the ego of pushing too far, just to see what you might look like, or to achieve the perfect pose. It's not about that, it's about feeling the pose in your body. So the other option is of course lying on your front pillow with the right hand and drawing your left knee, your left foot towards your left butt cheek. Halfway through, 90 seconds to go. As well as targeting our 4 quadriceps, there's also a hip flexor that we're working here, the rectus femoris, which is also a quadricep. So you will feel it all the way up towards the hip, as well as in the thigh. 30 seconds. Slowly coming up. Now I'm going to take it into the spine with a forward bend. So I'm going to give you two options. You're either going to walk your hands forward, maybe even placing a bolster or a pillow on your thighs, or maybe grabbing the toes if it's there for you. It doesn't matter if it's not. So this is one option for a forward bend, really opening into the thoracolumbar fascia all the way along the spine. Or you can take a plough or a snail, as it's called in Yin, where you take your legs over your head. It doesn't matter if your toes touch the ground. They may be off the earth. Your knees may be very bent. You can rest your palms on your lower back. You can even rest your knees on your forehead, if that feels good. And if you want to take it into the hamstrings as well, then by all means start to straighten out the legs too. So this is a really powerful opener into the spine, creating lots of lovely space between the discs and the vertebrae. So to keep a healthy spine, we need to do back bends, forward bends and twists. It's really important to keep mobile. You need to use it or lose it. Obviously being mindful of any injuries you may have, and listening to your body. You're the only one that knows what it feels like to be you. So be kind, be compassionate to yourself. Over halfway through. Final minute. So maybe going that little bit deeper without forcing it. Feeling the stretch perhaps in the backs of the legs as well as in the spine. And if you need to bend your knees a little bit, that's totally fine, or a lot. Last 30 seconds. Slowly coming up, our final posture, coming into a twist. So we're now going to twist the spine. Hug your right knee in towards your chest with your left hand. Take it over to the left, and then you can extend that right arm out. If your right shoulder doesn't reach the ground, you can place a block underneath the right shoulder. You can place a bolster underneath that right knee. So we're twisting into the thoracic spine now, the upper back, the part where the ribs attach. Sometimes we find in this twist we don't feel a huge amount when we're in it, but it's when we come out after a long stretch that we really feel it. This pose is called Twisted Roots in Yin Yoga, named by Paul and Susie Grilly, the founders of the Yin Yoga practice. great complement to our power yoga or other yang forms of exercise. As we start to release into that deep connective tissue and relax, allows us to slow down, to drop from our fight or flight, our busy doing, into our parasympathetic nervous system where we rest, where we relax. 1 minute to go. Very slowly untwisting, release that right leg down. You might feel quite a big rebound coming out of this pose. And then hug your left knee in towards your chest. With your right hand, take that knee over to the right. And you can gaze over the left shoulder if that feels good on your neck. Good on your arm bone. We can also stretch into the pecs in this pose as well as into the spine. So if you hear a few little pops, which you may do as you twist, it's nothing to worry about, it's called defixating. It's just a mixture of air and water releasing out of the joints. .90 seconds to go. Very slowly untwisting, and then take as long as you like in Shavasana. Final relaxation. If you do have time after your Shavasana, maybe taking a few moments to sit